Alrighty, I'll get egg on. Now, rugby and motorsports seem like they're pretty different when it comes to, well, everything. They're two very different sports. But they unite in this one, and it should be an interesting clash. On the surface, you might think rugby players are very tough and very physical, right? And that is certainly true, although can they survive jumping in a seat of, well, a race car and experiencing motorsports firsthand? We're going to take a look at that. Chaz Mostert, might recognize that name. Yeah, very fast and famous race car driver is going to take Callan Ponga. Now, I'm not aware of him, but I'm assuming he's some sort of famous rugby player. They're down in Australia going for a ride. And I think this seems like just a fun concept. I haven't done a video like this in a long time where we're taking a look at a ride along with someone who's not very familiar with motorsports. So this should be really good. Anytime I have looked at other examples of this, it's been thoroughly entertaining. This was suggested recently by David, so I appreciate that. This is from Tickford Racing. It'll be linked in the description down below so you can see the whole thing uninterrupted browser channel. We won't be seeing the whole thing here. Let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so this is from about 6 or 7 years ago. So keep that in mind when we're taking a look at the race car, you know, this version of the supercar inside. Obviously different compared to nowadays. There is the rugby star in question. And of course, the race car driver, Chaz Mostert, on the left side of the screen. In reality, the right side of the car, obviously being right-hand drive.
Not really, man. We don't really look at the speed so much.
So the audio is very faint. I could barely hear it. I'm assuming you won't be able to hear it, but he basically said something. He asked something I couldn't really hear. And then Chaz responds, "Oh, yeah, I don't really look at that," referring to the speed. And this guy's like, "Oh, okay, how fast are we going?" There we go. Expect to hear some good sounds. Sounded like he was talking about brake bias and adjusting something else. What an interesting concept. You have, you know, rugby, from what I've seen, I'm no expert, but, you know, when I look at Aussie rules, you know, footy in Australia, when I look at NRL, you know, rugby, just any sort of sport like that, very tough, rough and tough players, very physical, very intimidating, right? You can't throw a normal person into those sports. They'll get killed out there, right? But yet you throw a tough guy from a tough sport into this race car, and he might not have any idea what he's in for. It's a different sort of experience. You're just along for the ride at this point. And I know it sounds cliche, but I really prefer this era of supercars as well.
That's like the firebomb. Yeah, so like if you flick that on, basically all these sprinklers will come on.
Let's talk about the fire system there. Sprinklers come on. Firebomb or something, I think he called it. I love hearing all the different mechanical sounds on race cars, man. It is so invigorating. Especially Aussie supercars. They sound so good. All right, skipping ahead. I believe they're about to pull out onto the track. I don't exactly know where they're at. There we go. Jeez. Wasted no time. Holy shit, that sound, bro. Dude, he is loving it, I think. Or he's scared. Maybe a little bit of both. Nervous laughs and Adrenaline laughing. Oh my God, man. Oh, man. I got goosebumps. Stop. Whoa. Dude, the sound of these cars is freaking wild. Wow, it is diabolical how these sound, man. They're so awesome. So mechanical. The gearbox, the engine just sings like a freaking A+, grade A+, level 100 orchestra. It is such a beautiful sound and yet so menacing. It's chaotic. It's this organized chaos, and you're just along for the ride. You have this tough rugby player getting thrown around in there, literally. This is insane in the best way, man. And dude, you know, Mostert, he knows how to drive. He really does. He just is so confident in that thing. And man, he knows how to whip it around, dude. Look at him getting thrown around or against the roll bar and everything. Or the roll cage, rather. Jeez. My God, man. Jeez, what a ride. I love that he did not hold back. At least didn't look like it to me. He gave him a real experience, dude. He didn't, you know what I mean? He didn't screw around, didn't, you know, oh, I'll just give you a little bit of a ride, you know. No, he laid into the throttle, laid into the brakes, shifted the hell out of that thing. Damn. Look at him take a breath. He doesn't know what to think. He got to catch his breath. Maybe he's got to barf. You know, I don't know what's going to happen. He said he went close to something, maybe the wall. He said he almost shat himself. Accurate for sure. Riding with a driver of that level in a car like that. Yeah, I could see that for sure. So, of course, when you search Google, this is the rugby player, Kellen Ponga. I hope I'm saying that right. I mean, yeah, he looks like a badass, right? He's in a badass sport. But to see him kind of get his world rocked in a different way than normal, right? Or, you know, maybe he's the one usually rocking other players' worlds. But to see him get thrown around in a race car like that and an Australian V8 supercar is just so interesting in the best way, really. That is awesome. Those are just so fun. There's a little bit of that we didn't even feature. So, yeah, use the link down there. Check them out. Check out Chaz Mostert, as always. He's just awesome behind the wheel. Aussie supercars are just forever going to have a place in here, man. And I was so late to the game. I didn't grow up with these, right? But, boy, in this channel, you know, in the last 4 years, which is so wild to say, you know, I've had the pleasure of learning about these from various forms of media, from viewers like yourself. It's just such a cool community, and these cars are just freaking awesome. There's so many really cool cars and motorsports around the world. And I thought we had our, you know, quite a fair share of awesome motorsports here in the U.S., and I still think we do. But, man, Oh man, is it hard to really compete with the Australian supercars? They're just, especially in this era, and of course going back, a few decades even, they're just their own thing. They're their own thing. The V8 sounds are incredible. Of course, the iconic drivers, the teams, the famous, racing liveries. Going back, you see like that Castrol VR Commodore is just beautiful. And the newer cars like this even were awesome. They're so chaotic. They're so mechanical. And boy, do they haul ass. They're fast. They're really fast. That was a lot of fun. The closing statement here, it's funny if you notice, Chaz Mostert was pretty stable and confident because this is what he does, right? And that's the funny thing about, being a passenger versus being a driver in a car. You can experience this on the street just driving normally. When you're the driver, things don't tend to really affect you much if you have some sort of confidence driving because you're driving. So every move you make in the car, every bump you're about to hit, every turn you're making, you're in control. So you see it coming and you know what to expect. But when you're the passenger in the car, I'm someone that is not passenger much in a car. I'm pretty much always driving when I'm in a car. So in the rare case where I am a passenger, it does feel weird. And so, you turn that up to 11 when you're in a race car and you're the passenger. You don't get that knowing what the next move is necessarily. So everything hits you harder. You get thrown around more. You feel everything more because you're just along for the ride, and it's just all coming at you at once, and you're not, in control of the car. So that's why these are very fun, because riding in a race car is a wild experience. Of course it is. I appreciate the suggestion. That was super awesome, and I really appreciate you watching. I hope you had fun. But that's going to do it for this one. My name is Ian. You're watching IWrocker. Until next time, y'all. Catch you later.